Reading is my thing. Growing up, I was always reading a book. Every day is different, but although it's different, it's a very busy day every day for Pele and for TUSI. You know, for our people, you know, we want to see things that reflect ourselves and our culture on shelves in these major stores throughout the country, and that's all I've ever wanted. I just cried, you know, happy tears, because you dream so big and you want these big things, and to achieve these big things starting out in business. Just so emotional. Talofa, my name is Noeleen Tuala, and I am the owner of Pele Baby and TUSI Stationery, and I am a Duffy kid. Pele started when I went looking for a Pasifika blanket for my grandson, Ryder, and there was nothing on the market. And that was when I knew that that was my moment, like this was my moment to do something that I loved, you know, with my culture and with babies. Childhood in South Auckland was amazing. You know, it was before all of the technology, so you were able to walk to school safely, you were able to like jump on your bike and go to the shop and buy takeaways and then ride back safely, you know, and at the same time there were a lot of our people around, you know, so it was always so inclusive growing up, especially in Aotearoa, in the school that I went to. It was just such a happy childhood, a safe one. Yeah, Duffy was huge for us back in primary school, because there wasn't a lot of money back then, you know, and so when Duffy would come around and visit, it was such a treat, you know. It was, yeah, it was like someone visiting, and you knew that didn't matter how you were doing with your grades, you were going to get a book, a new book at that, you know, yeah. I love reading. Reading is my thing. Like, I was growing up, I was always reading a book. Like, that is my thing. In school, it was always English and reading, and I was always like top of my class and things like that. And yeah, reading is just, I mean, how do you live life without reading, right? And now my kids and my grandkids are Duffy kids. Yeah, I have people who messaged me when they saw that I was a Duffy ambassador and were just like, I love this for you, because every time I saw you, you were reading a book. I think, I mean, it's a way to get away, right? From life, you know, it's always nice to dream. Hey, and it lets you get away from your life. Not saying that my life was bad growing up, but it's a way to like dream and, you know, just, that's right, to escape. You know, we didn't have much technology when I was growing up, so reading was like such a vital thing for me. Yeah. So a typical day, I would wake up before the sun comes up. I would get my son ready for school. I would do school drop-offs. I would come back. I would check emails, reply to emails, speak to customers and stockists, cleaning the house, you know, and by that time it's school pickup. Once school pickup is over and extracurricular activities are done, it's home and I make dinner for my family. And then I have grandbabies who stay with me as well. So it's definitely a busy house, and it's definitely a juggle every single day. Yeah, it's been 3 months since we first hit farmers' shelves nationwide, and it's honestly been so amazing. The feedback, the sell-through has been next level. People messaging that they're so proud of, a fellow Pasifika person, and seeing products that reflect them on shelves and farmers is huge, and that novelty is definitely not lost on me, because not everyone gets to live out their dreams and do things they love, So it's not just a win for us, it's definitely a win for our people. And 3 months later, we're still going strong and we'll continue to go strong. So one of the main goals when I started Pele 3.5 years ago was to be stocked in farmers. And 3.5 years later, we are. We've been here in farmers for the past 3 months now. And I remember me and my husband were driving and I received an email from farmers and I just cried, happy tears, because you dream so big and you want these big things and to achieve these big things starting out in business. And at the back of your mind you think it'll never happen. And when it happened, when that email came through, I just so emotional. One of the goals for Pele, for my husband and myself, to work full-time in the business. So for him to retire from his full-time job. And Pele is just in a growth stage. We have plans to grow even more than we have already. And those plans are slowly coming into place. And for TUSI Stationery, we've just signed a contract with a national distributor here in New Zealand, so that will be revealed shortly. So yeah, there's a lot happening on that blessing list of mine. The first Pasifika baby business stocked in farmers ever. For our people, we want to see things that reflect ourselves and our culture on shelves in these major stores throughout the country. And that's all I've ever wanted from day one. I mean, even though we've been stocked for 3 months now, it's still like pinch myself moment, like, oh my gosh, like you're really in farmers. Yeah. I read because knowledge is power and power is knowledge.